Oswald was involved in CIA operations that were not surveillance operations before the assassination. And this is one of the stories that I found in the JFK files. And it's an incredible, mind blowing story that the CIA has never commented on because it's so egregious. And this is the story. In the summer of 1963, Lee Harvey Oswald had a series of confrontations with Cuban exiles in New Orleans. And he made a big stink. They got into a fight because he was handing out pro Castro pamphlets and they were anti Castro. They threw his leaflets in the wind. They got into a fight and they were arrested. Okay, so that made the newspapers. There was a little item in the newspaper. Then they went to court and the Cubans confronted Oswald, the treacherous pro Castro guy, and there was a TV news coverage of that. Oswald then handed out pamphlets again, and there was more TV coverage. Then the leaders of the Cuban Student Directorate in New Orleans challenged Oswald to a debate, and there was a radio debate, a radio interview, and then a radio debate. As a result of Oswald's encounters with this Cuban Student Directorate, he became known for the first time as a supporter of the Cuban Revolution. What I reported, and no one disputes, is that those Cubans were funded and supported by the CIA and by this officer, George Joanides, who was the chief of covert action operations in Miami. He was not a top level guy. He was more like a mid-level guy. Okay, Angleton's a top level guy. Joanides is the guy who's carrying out the schemes of his bosses at the field level. Okay, they generate propaganda about Oswald, denounce him as a pro-Castro supporter, call for a congressional investigation of him. This is all in the summer of 1963. Then on November 22nd, Oswald's arrested for killing the president, and the CIA's propaganda assets go public. And that night of Kennedy's assassination, the president's body is still in the air returning to Washington. The CIA's media assets go out and they encourage the first JFK conspiracy theories. They say, we have proof that this guy Oswald acted at behest of Castro. President Kennedy was killed by a communist. The CIA's propaganda assets were putting that out within hours of Kennedy's death.